Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson. This is Stephen Howson FC. This is the transfer window review. It is deadline day, and as a Manchester United fan, it's actually nice for a change to sit back and put my feet up and actually think, do you know what? There's no panic buying happening at Manchester United today. Yes, I know the squad isn't exactly perfect, but it's pretty good, isn't it? Let's face it, as a United fan, things look pretty rosy at the moment. The squad is pretty good. We've got question marks at left back, but we have options at left back. We've got Demi Mitchell, we've got Luke Shaw, we've got Blind, we've got Rojo, we've got players who can play there. Damian can also fill in there. We probably lack a winger. But you know what? You're not going to see me sitting here flipping out about it. What did we set out to achieve at the start of the season? Improve the squad. What did we want to do? We improved the squad. We brought in Lindelof, who, you know, I've got my reservations on, and you know my reasons for those reservations. He strengthened the defence. The defence certainly hasn't got weaker than last season. Matic coming into midfield has strengthened the midfield. The midfield is stronger. Lukaku coming in up front, as well as retaining Zlatan after letting him go, has improved the attack. Manchester United are in a better place than we was last season, and we'll get into that in just a second. We'll go through all of those positions. We'll talk about the signings that we've just made. We'll talk about some of the lads that have left on loan and on free transfers, etc. But before we do, this video is sponsored by OneFootball. As always, for the whole of this month, they've supported me, so please show you their support. They've been excellent throughout the transfer window. They've got a really good section on there where you can go into detail and check out what is going on with some of the transfers. It's been a busy one today, but it's been great having them on alerts. So make sure you get them on alerts, especially when the season starts, for all the breaking news that's happening in and around football. Definitely worth having on your phone. Definitely an app worth checking out. You've got loads of stats here supplied by Opta. You can use it for fixture lists. You can just use it for your general footballing news. It's an absolutely fantastic app. Definitely recommend it. It's not one that you see crashing all the time. The alerts that they give you, the notifications that you get through from them are pertinent. So whichever clubs you're following, you're going to get news about them. They're not going to start telling you about what's going on at Huddersfield or Grimsby unless you ask them to. So go and get it downloaded. Absolutely fantastic app. Definitely recommended. Thank you for supporting me for the whole of this month. And go and support them by downloading it. It's free. Get amongst it. So, Manchester United signing then for this window. Who is our best signing? Does it even matter? For me, let's go through them in order. Let's go through them in order. So, Lindelof comes in. Lindelof was the most underwhelming of the signings, I think, for this summer for Manchester United. We was first linked to him in December last year. So in December last year, I went out of my way to try and watch him. And I went out to try and watch him with a critical eye for us signing him. How good is this kid? Is he going to improve Manchester United? Where would he fit in? So I started looking with a critical eye. Around that time, I was fortunate enough to interview Wes Brown, and off camera, I spoke to Wes Brown because we was linked to the guy at the time and said, how do you judge centre-halves? What should I be looking for when it comes to judging a centre-half? And Wes gave me a couple of things which I've based my judging of centre-halves on, and I also spoke to René Mullenstein about this on Monday as well, and asked him what does he think about him on camera and off camera, and both of them, they give me the same sort of thing: judge a defender on their defending. It seems so simplistic, doesn't it? It seems so like, duh, obviously, but judge a defender on their ability to defend. Now, Rio Ferdinand often gets called a ball-playing defender, but he was an absolute monster of a defender who also had the ability to step out. That, unfortunately, isn't what we've got with Lindelof. I've seen people excusing the performances of Lindelof, saying he needs time to settle in, remember Vidic and this, that and the other. The difference with this transfer is we never knew about Vidic prior to him coming in. There wasn't 6 months of rumours before Vidic came in, and there wasn't the technology or the videos about where you could go and watch someone, or even check him out in the Champions League when they was in the Champions League, so you could go and watch them and see what he was like as a player. When he came, yes, he was poor, and he developed and he settled in and he became the monster of a defender that we ended up having. But with Lindelof, as soon as he was linked with United, I got on WeScout and I started looking just at his individual performances: positioning, 1-versus-1 tackling, heading. These are the three things that you want from a centre-half. Can he play it out from the back? Yes, he can. Can he distribute it from the back? Yes, he can. Are those good attributes to have? Absolutely. But the main attributes of a defender is defending one-on-one, it's heading, and it's positioning. Now, I saw a lot of times Lindelof coming out of the line, losing his position, getting turned. That was the one I saw a lot of. He would come out and get turned. Now, that was a shocking trait that I saw there for me. Now, what I also spoke to René about was, is this the sort of thing that you can improve on in the training ground? René said it was. tie this into what Mourinho said last week when he was talking about Lindelof, and he was talking about that he's not at the level he wants him to be at yet. So that tells me, one, that they're working on it, and two, that there is something he needs to achieve in training before he's going to be given the opportunity to start for Manchester United regular. I like that. So I think if you're one of those that's thinking, got to give the guy time to settle in, I think you're incorrect on this, because he doesn't need to settle in. What we saw from Lindelof prior to his move when he was at Benfica is what we still see from Lindelof today. So it wasn't like we saw a level of performance up here and then he moved to United, it's been down here and we have to get him back up to that level of performance. We are seeing what we bought from Lindelof. So what Lindelof needs to do is he needs to add to his game. He needs to improve these specific areas of being a defensive defender. And once he improves those, I'm sure there's an excellent player there. Now, you don't get to be as good as he is with the ball without having something upstairs. So I hope he's taking it all on board, and I hope he's afforded the time. And let's face it, we've got some excellent coaches at Manchester United to really hammer into him what he needs to be doing from a defensive position inside. And I think we're going to see a good player out of it, but it's not going to be yet. So he is the most underwhelming of signings on paper, and I think he is the most underwhelming of the signings in fact, and I think it'll be the longest one to get into the first team on a regular basis. The next one over the line was Romelu Lukaku. I'm pretty sure you guys all know my thoughts on Lukaku. Absolutely love the guy. I got a little bit nervous when we signed him, because half of me was like, oh no, have I gone too hard on this? Are his stats and attributes masked by the fact that he's been a giant human being from 14 years of age? But actually, what I saw when I did a video said he will be a success for Manchester United, but then what I've seen with my own eyes is he will be a success for Manchester United. Technically, he's excellent. His movement was what I was excited about. His ability to attack from the halfway line when United win the ball. And it's obvious from pre-season that Manchester United have been working to improve our transitions from defence to attack. That's often called a counter-attack. It's not always a counter-attack, though. Sometimes that is just improving the speed of a transition. And I thought we've been transitioning pretty well. Some of our goals have come from that. Was it the final goal? I think it might have been the final goal against Swansea, was a brilliant example of this. Lukaku's hold-up play, allowing Marshall to take the ball from him, and then Pogba to carry on with it, and then Marshall to finish it, I think it was. I might be wrong on that one. So I definitely see the way he brings other players into the game is different to what Zlatan offered, and his movement, especially that pace that he possesses, allows other people to slip in and allows United to be a more fluid unit when we're attacking. And I think that is going to be the major difference between us this year and last year. His finishing is a little bit better than Zlatan's. Maybe it's because he doesn't take as many chances as Zlatan does, but he's certainly really composed when he's finishing, and that leads to a high percentage of shots going in. He doesn't blast it, he passes it into there, and I think he's an unbelievable signing for United. Properly excited about what he's going to be bringing to us as the season progresses, and I think he is the best signing. A lot of people want to say it was Matic, and obviously I'm going to talk about Matic in a second, but for me it wasn't the defensive side of things which let us down, apart from maybe in those big games Mourinho didn't feel he had the confidence, but it was the goal scoring. It was literally the goal scoring. We just didn't score enough goals. So for me, Lukaku, he's going to score those goals, so he's going to be the bigger signing. Matic, next through the door. Now, 35, 40 million, whatever we paid for him, it's irrelevant in this transfer window, isn't it? Chelsea are trying to sign a replacement for him in Danny Drinkwater for the same money. How are they on the same level? We've got an unbelievable deal bringing in Matic for less or the same as whatever that is they're trying to bring Danny Drinkwater in for. If United had signed Danny Drinkwater, can you imagine the uproar? Can you imagine the uproar if that was what we were spending 40 million on? Matic is the guy with the experience, the know-how, and the working with Mourinho to win a title. I've seen people say that Mourinho's also worked with Fabinho. He's worked with him for one match. It's not really the same, is it? Not the same as winning titles with somebody. Matic has come in and brought in experience in a position that we probably need a lot of experience. We're a very, very young side overall. And I actually think one of the deficiencies of the squad is that we could really do with a centre-half. Howard has gone to Juventus, a player that I absolutely love, for 10 million. That would have been a brilliant signing. I would have been extremely excited if we'd have brought him in. The perfect age to mentor the rest of that defence, to marshal the rest of that defence, and not older, not young enough that he would block off the likes of Tuanzebe and possibly Fosu Mensah coming through in a year or two's time. So Matic didn't realise how good he was on the ball, knew what he offered from a defensive point of view, ultra calm, ultra composed, very efficient at dealing with opposition attacks, snuffing them out fantastically. Very interested to see how he is deployed. I think it'll be him and Ander Herrera as a midfield defensive two when we play the likes of City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs. Those big games, I think you're going to see deployed as a two, and I think you're going to see Manchester United really dominate those games. Herrera is not as physically imposing as Matic, but from an energy, tempo, bite, aggression side of things, I think those two are going to make a very interesting partnership. And whether that's a three with Lukaku, given the creative license in that as well, because Lukaku can mix it up when he needs to, Pogba can mix it up when he needs to as well, to make a very solid midfield three, something I'm really looking forward to seeing. And then finally, Zlatan leaves United, comes back to United for like 20% of his pay, quarter of his pay, whatever it was. Unbelievable bargain that we're getting, bringing Zlatan back. I think that's going to coincide with a reduced role, and I'm pretty excited. I'm intrigued and I'm excited because I think that Lukaku has never had to been relied upon for a whole season with this number of games, with the pressure and the expectation of winning stuff the way he's got to be at Manchester United this season. So there's games you're going to want to bring Lukaku out, and there's games that you're going to rest him for, and there might be a game where, do you know what, it's the sixth group game in the Champions League, or it's a second leg where it's already sewn up. Maybe you want to see it out a little bit more. Zlatan coming in is an unbelievable option to rotate with, isn't it? It's fantastic. All that experience, all that knowledge, all that ability to be coming off the bench at this stage of his career, helping this Manchester United side to push on all fronts. It's a fantastic option for Manchester United. It's a free transfer again. We need to change the lyrics of the song. On a free from MUFC, cost us fucking zero. I'm delighted. I'm absolutely delighted to see Zlatan back, and I don't think he's going to take anything away from Lukaku. I think he's going to help. As for those that we've allowed to leave, Harrop was one that a lot of people was complaining about, but the guy was offered a new contract. He didn't want to sign it. You can't blame him. He's gone to get some first-team football. I'm sure you're going to see him back in the Premier League because he's an absolutely fantastic footballer. Wayne Rooney scores a couple of goals. People start suggesting that it was a mistake, but when you look at this side, you look at how dynamic this team is at the moment. Yes, we are going to miss his experience, but I don't think he would have started for Manchester United this season. So for me, it was the right decision. And if that was what we needed to do to get Lukaku out of Everton, we have got the best out of this deal we possibly could have done. Some of the lads that have gone on loan, Borthwick Jackson has gone on loan. Good luck to him, he's going to need that at Leeds. Fosu Mensah at Palace. Palace fans are absolutely drooling about the guy, and I can't blame them. I'd love to see him in the United 11 week in, week out. They're very fortunate. I'm going to go down and check out a Palace game as well. Show Timbo some support whenever I can. Matty Willett confirmed today off to Utrecht in Eredivisie. That's a brilliant move for him. That is a division that plays football, and he is a football player. If he'd have gone to the Championship, he might not have been appreciated as much as he possibly could have been, because it's not about playing football in the Championship. It's very rough, very tumble, and it builds character in the Championship, which arguably some players need. But I think Matty Willett is a footballer. He's got a brain on him, and he got rounded out by playing up front from being a quite safe central midfielder. It really added that extra risk to him, and there are shades of Paul Pogba in some of the things he does on the pitch. Now, if he goes out there and he gets a full season under his belt, playing at Utrecht, which is a high level, I think they came 3rd or 4th in Eredivisie last season, so he's going to be pushing for honours. He's going to be in a title running. He's going to be expected to go to latter stages of their domestic cup, and that is unbelievably valuable experience for him. So good luck to Matty. I'm going to try and get out for a game over at Utrecht. I was chatting to him today actually, and wishing him all the best for the trip. And I think that's definitely a trip that we're going to have to make this season now. Looking at maybe November. It's the only month I've got free at the moment. So good luck to Matty. Good luck to all the lads that are on loan. Bring it on for Manchester United. Loads of positivity today. No scrabbling around for a last minute buy. I think if somebody comes available, I'm sure Bale, Mahrez, Sanchez, although I think he's definitely going to City. I think if any of them become available, I think Ed Woodward would probably want to sign them. But I think Jose's pretty happy with the squad at this stage. So hopefully it's an easy night for United fans tonight, and I'm sure we'll be there all the way. So the podcast is going to be on the podcast channel. Remember, that is not on this channel. This is the football channel. Just search Stephen Howson Podcast on YouTube. We will be live at 9 o'clock, and we'll be going right through to just before 11 o'clock when I've got to whip it off and get it on for tomorrow's transfers to a day with full-time Devils. So come and join me and Ben at 9 o'clock. That is on the podcast channel. Hit subscribe, get liking, get your comments in. Who do you think is the best signing for Manchester United this season? And who was the one player that we didn't get that you really wanted? Thanks for watching. See you in a bit.